All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Journeyman. It's episode number 38. And you may notice the Coyotes, or Tlaxcala Football Club Coyotes, manager position is empty. Yeah, it's official. We've moved on. We're out of the club. And now you get to see who our new club is. We did apply for a number of positions. Firstly, and we got rejected by a number of clubs. I'm not gonna lie. But we have found ourselves a new team. I don't think it'll be a surprise to anyone, really. We are the Adelaide United manager. So yeah. Basically we applied for the job. They gave us an interview, and within like 2 days of the interview, they came to us and said, "Come have the job, please." And now I did delay it twice for 2 weeks because we were in for a job in where was it? We were in for a job in the Mexican First Division. Can't remember which club right now. Mexican First Division. How do I go there? There. Which club was it? I think we were in for the Puebla job. This right? Puebla. They gave us an interview. And look at them. They're in a pretty healthy state. And I wanted to kind of stay in Mexico once there was a position available. We had an interview, but they went a different way. So that didn't work out. And the other reason I delayed was we were in for a job in the I believe it was the Argentinian or Uruguayan. That's right, Uruguayan top division. With Penarol. So I was interested in that. Yeah, Penarol were the club. They never offered me an interview though. So we didn't get that job. But it would have been a pretty nice sort of job, the Uruguayan top division, so that could have been fun, I think. But it didn't happen. So we eventually decided to just take the Adelaide United job. And that's it so far. We are in the off season at the moment. The season doesn't start until when's their season start? The first round of the cup starts in July by the looks of things. Yeah, because they play their preseason cup. No, the cup in the preseason. Champions League, I don't think we have to worry about that. I don't think we're in the Champions League. But yeah, the cup's in the preseason. The actual league doesn't start until October. So it's only June at the moment. So we've got plenty of time to sort of figure out what we need to do with the squad, because while it looks like there are a number of players here in the squad, and there's a lot, there's not a lot of I mean, they've got youth teams, they've got a B team, like, so a lot of it's dregs. So looking at the finances, we've got $16 million in the bank, which is really nice. It's a lot of money to have in the bank, which is cool. We've got a wage budget of $101,000 per week. We got a transfer budget of $5.1 million per week. Plus we get 100% of transfer revenue. So that's pretty good. Now the hard part is this. The A-League, hold on. Did they make the playoffs? Why are Adelaide in the playoffs? Qualifying round. What? No, they're not in the playoffs. What's this qualifying round final? I don't know what that is. Newcastle United, Perth Glory, Western United. Are they the bottom 4 teams? They are the bottom 4 teams. I don't know what they get. Anyway, what I was going to say is the rules here is it's crazy in the A-League. So, where is it? Transfer rules. There's a lot. And squad rules. Right, where is it? Transfer. Maximum of 5 foreign players, which is fine. Maximum squad salary of 50,000 per week, excluding designated players, with a maximum of 2 designated players in the squad. So, hold on. We're spending 72,000 on wages, but we can only spend 50,000 on wages. Is that what it's saying? It's saying we can only spend 50,000 per week on players, excluding designated players. Do we have designated players then? How do I... Hold on, this might be bad. We might be in a really bad... Okay, we do have designated player. We've got Thomas Glover, who's a designated player, and he's all right, but he's not a great goalie. Seems like a waste. We've got scholarship players. What's that mean? Okay, I don't know what any of this means. Okay, this is going to be very confusing, but it looks like we've only got 1 designated player. So that means we can get 1 more that's outside of the 50,000 squad budget, right? I believe. Players released after this. Minimum of 3 players registered to play in both first team and B team matches. Loan rules. Maximum of 2 domestic players allowed on loan at one time. That's into the club, I gather. Allowed out on loan in a season to domestic base clubs. Maximum 6 players out on loan at a time to any one club. Oh, God. Okay, transfer for foreign player without permit. Okay, whatever. Financial rules. Here we are. Salary cap, 50,000 per week. Yeah, so that's all we can spend on wages. Designated players and guest players do not count towards the salary cap. Each club can contract up to 16 under 23 Australian players on scholarship contracts. Any payments up to the national minimum wage to these players are not included in the club's salary cap. Okay, so some of our scholarship players' salary doesn't count. Players on scholarship contracts do not qualify as homegrown players. Is there a homegrown players limit in our registration? Do they then take up a foreign players slot? Is that what they're saying? Oh, I'm very confused. Clubs can spend up to a collective 3,800 per week across any number of players that have given 4 or more consecutive seasons of service to the club. Portion of the loyalty player's contract value is excluded from... Oh my gosh. Clubs can spend up to, on homegrown players, 23 or younger, they've come through there. Any payments to such players are included in the club. Yep. Clubs can save up to each season to be spent on top of the salary cap allowance in the next season. Oh my lord, this is going to be very, very confusing. I think we've made a mistake here. Is there a league specific? Hold on. Right. So what? Okay. 50,000 per week is the league salary cap. The team's salary cap spend. We're currently spending 13,500 out of 50,000. So we've got 36.5k in cap space. But we've got like 1 million players. I don't understand. Number of club designated player slots, 2. Number of designated players contracted to the club, 1. Yes, we are aware we've got 1. Number of scholarship player slots, 16. Number of scholarship players contracted by the club is 12. Which which means we've got 4 of those slots available. What does that mean? Which players qualify for those again? Which players are the scholarship players? Guys, if anybody understands the A-League transfer rules and contract rules, please let me know in the comments because I've got no freaking idea. Right, so scholarship players, each club, under 23 Australian players can be signed on scholarship contracts. And up to the national minimum wage for these players is not included in the cap. So that would be, depending on their age apparently, 875, 925, 950 or 1100. Oh, okay, we are going to mess this up for sure. Because I'm so confused. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, what about registration then? So like, domestic players on youth contracts do not have to be registered. Okay. Guest players sit outside the roster. So scholarship players sit outside the roster. So they don't need to be... Okay, so they don't need to be registered at all? I think. And they can just play, can they? I think that means they can just play if they're scholarship players and they don't need to be registered. But there's no... So it looks like there's no homegrown limit anyway. Oh, we've got no foreign players at the club, so that's good. We can bring in 5 really top players. But we've only got 25,000 to do it with. Plus 1 designated player slot. Okay. Liberia. What? Lebanon doesn't count as a foreign player. I think. I'm very confused. Very, very, very confused. But we'll figure it out as we go. What we're going to do today is I'm not playing any games because it's months and months away until games. But what we are going to do is we're going to have a quick look at the squad. I've already had a quick look and I've made up a tactic. Now, this is it. What I've figured, okay, we were cooking, I'm telling you. What I figured is we don't have a lot of, because I like to play the 4-2-3-1, obviously, but I couldn't find, this club doesn't have a lot of great wingers. Or they have wingers, but they don't have inside forward wingers. So, which, I mean, is a problem because some of them are our best players. Like this Craig Smith here is a good player. But he's a winger. He can play midfield, so he's probably going to provide support in the Mazzala's positions. So, hear me out. It's a 4-1-3-2 narrow, right? But it's really a 4-2-3-1, right? Okay. You might be like, what? But look, here's my thinking, right? Our 4 defenders, that's our standard backline setup that we always do, right? Ball playing defenders, fullbacks on attack. Great. Sweeper keeper. We've got our defensive midfielder on support, which we always have there, right? But we've got a CM on defend, right? He's being told to hold position naturally. That's part of it. And tackle harder because that's what we do. So he is basically another DM on support. Basically. Right? Pretty much. Then, so now that's our 2. That's our base in midfield is these 2. Right? That's our 4-2. And then our 3, right? Our 3 Mazzalas. They're like They're like inside forwards, sort of, kind of, not really, but a little bit, because they like to play up inside they drift wider, so they're not quite wingers, but they're not quite midfielders. So they're inside forwards, right? Because our inside forwards sit narrower, right? When we play them out here, we put sit narrower on, so they're in here. My Metzalas are going to be sitting there. In my head, maybe I could put them on attack to make them do that more. Because then we've got to get further. They've got to get further on, get further forward, naturally. So they're going to be up here in the similar positions to inside forwards. In my head, that's how it's going to work. That's why we've got 2 Mazzalas to do that, right? Trust me, this is crazy. I promise you, this is crazy. So then our fullbacks are still going to overlap. I mean, they're underlapping. Hold on. They're going to be in the same positions. Hold on a sec. I might have messed up. We may need to change to overlapping. It's fine. It's fine. In my head, this is going to work. Then the pressing forward is not real. I could change this to a false 9, but neither of our strikers can play false 9. So I can't really do that. But he's going to be the attacking midfielder on attack, but he's just because our attacking midfielder on attack is set to get further forward and be in the box more anyway, right? So I'm figuring our pressing forward can just be in the box anyway, right? And he's going to press and be basically a secondary midfielder at times anyway. So I think it's going to, and so then that's our 3, our Mazzalas and our pressing forward confront the 3, complete the 3. Yeah? Yeah? Am I crazy or am I a genius? Probably crazy. Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably crazy. But my theory is that these Mazzalas are basically our wingers. So we've got a couple of really good wingers in Monaco and Hannafin, right? This guy apparently is one of our best players. Now, he can play inside forward on support, but he's right-footed. He doesn't really know how to play the left wing. So instead of doing that, he's going to learn how to play Mazzala. Yeah? Because look, I'm not just crazy. I promise, I'm not just crazy. I mean, might be. But here, look. I can highlight this, right? Metzala on support. And look at the stats that they need to be a Metzala. Dribbling, first touch. Okay, long shots is not great. Passing is also not great. Tackling's bad. But everything else is pretty good. So he's going to learn how to play Metzala. And Monaco's another good one. And I haven't done it with him. I haven't checked his, but I think he has pretty good attributes to play him as. No, he's not got as good. He's not really a Metzala. Okay, so that's not going to work with him. Either way, I think it's going to be good. This Craig Smith guy, who's another one of our good young players. I think he can do the Metzala. Maybe. Like borderline. But like the tackling is, we just ignore tackling, all right? We ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist. And like, don't worry about long shots either. Don't worry about that. I'm thinking it'll be, no, he's really not good enough either. Okay, we might need to rethink this. By the time we get to the actual matches, I might have changed my mind completely. We might not be playing this weird formation. But I think it's going to work. That's what we're going with. Everything else is going to stay the same with our 4-2-3-1 instructions because it's 4-2-3-1. Just set up weirdly to make our players play better in it. I don't know. That's what I'm going with. But anyway, we're going to have a look at a couple of players. Glover's our goalie. 29-year-old Australian. He's good. He's not great, but he's good. He's a designated player, so I don't love the use of it. But he's here, and he's going to stay here because I feel like there's other spots that need to be... Came from Middlesbrough, so there you go. I feel like there's other spots that need to be worked on before him. Like right back is one spot. This is Van der Sag. Harry Van der Sag, actually. He's a fullback on attack. And he's decent. He's a decent player. Our coaches or whatever say that he's a scout. Says he's got 3 stars. And he's decent. He's 27 years old. He'll do the job for now. But in my ideal world, I'll bring in a younger player who's better than that. Yeah, that's the plan. But he's going to be our starting right back. Pittman here, he's our starting fullback on attack in the left side. He's a 18-year-old Englishman, 2 stars, but he's got 5-star potential apparently. So I want to try and play him. I kind of want to get someone better than him to be our starter because our backup's worse. Mirko Mancini is our backup. And he, as you can see, they're just about the same. They're both pretty average. The Australian 19-year-old, 2 stars, 4.5-star potential. So, there's a lot of potential there, but they're just not quite... I don't think they're quite good enough. And the other guys that we have in the left back spot are not much better. He's probably better. Maybe his physicals aren't as good though, but he's better with the ball. That's what I mean. There's not a lot of options at left back, so we tried to bring in a couple of guys on trial that are good left backs. Although this says he's only 2.5-star, which to me he looks a lot better than that. But he's they're going to cost too much, so I can't. Josh Wilson-Esbrin, I'm sure we've all heard of him. He'd be really nice. But he wants way too much. He was at Man City, for Christ's sake. So yeah, he wants stupid money. I can't afford to bring him in, but he'd be absolutely spectacular for us. So yeah, that's where our issue lies at the minute. Left back, central defense. We've actually got some pretty good options. Like for this league, like these guys are fine for this league. Giuseppe Bovalina, 22-year-old Australian, 3 stars, 3.5-star potential. This guy, Patriotis Kikianis, pretty good player. Not great in the air, which is a bit of a worry. Considering he's 6'4", you'd hope for a bit better, but he's not too bad. We do have a couple. J. Rich Baguilo. Pretty sure he was over at Crystal Palace at one point. Feel like he's quite good. He's 6'5", 18 jumping reach, 13 heading. He'll probably start because I reckon he can score goals. Was he at Crystal Palace? Was I right? Yeah, he went to Palace. I was pretty sure he went to Palace at one point. Didn't play any games. And we've got Zach Kokinkowski, who's another option at centre back, and he looks pretty good as well. So I think centre back we're pretty good. DM we've got Johnny Kutrombis, 29-year-old Australian. He can play centre back as well. But I thought we were well enough stocked there he's 5'11", so I thought he was better suited to playing the defensive midfield role. Pretty good numbers. It's not quite as much stamina as I'd like with only 6, but he'll do for now, I think. We're pretty good with defensive mid. We've got this young kid, Michael Beinhold, who can play there. He's pretty good. I like him a lot. I actually probably like him more than Kutrombis. He may end up being the starter. I don't know. Can kind of be a Mazzala as well, so he can provide support for those positions as well, which is good. We've also got Pennington, Nathan Pennington, Nicholas Pennington, 50-50. Got it wrong. He's sort of a good all-rounder sort of guy. Defensive midfielder on support. He's pretty good. He can play central mid defense, which is what he's doing at the moment. And he could sort of fill in as a Mazzala as well. So he's pretty decent in my eyes. And then we've got the two guys on the wings, the half wings. Mazzala, Richie Alagich, Ethan Alagich. Richie's his dad. He used to play for LA United as well. He's a pretty good Mazzala. Like, he is quite good at it. Long shots is a little low, but other than that, and tackling, but overall, he's really solid, really well-rounded. Can play central mid defense as well, sort of 8-9-8 with positioning, marking, tackling, which is not ideal, but he's solid. And Johnny Yull, who's basically Mazzala. He's basically a Mazzala. Take away the tackling, because forget about it. He's pretty good. He covers the bases pretty well. 22-year-old Australian. Yeah. He's just going to play as the Mazzala. He can't do anything else, so he's just a Mazzala. And then our the backups for them, like I said, I'm going to train this Lorty Hannafin to be a Mazzala, because I think he can do a good enough job at it. Who was the other one? Tahan could play as a Mazzala. Like, he's quite good at it as well. So there's plenty of options for the Mazzala role. There's like plenty down here. Joe Coletti can sort of do it. Probably more central to mid defense. He's probably more backup for that position. But like, there is options there. We're trying to sign a couple of guys, but they want a bit too much money at the moment. I'm just going to try and bring their wages down next time we can talk to them again. Then the strikers. Now, this is where it gets a little bit exciting, in my eyes. Luka Jovanovic, who was the highest scoring player for Adelaide United last season. He can play both roles, advanced forward or the pressing forward. And to me, he looks very, very nice. Composure is a bit low. Is the only one. Everything else is 12 or above, basically, for the stats you want that I care about the most, which is obviously finishing, first touch, composure, off the ball, acceleration, pace. So yeah, composure is the only one that's under 12. So everything else is pretty good. And then we've got this guy, Moussa Toure, who can play. He can play the pressing forward on attack as well, quite well. But the mentals are a little bit off for it. So he's going to play as the advanced forward. He's going to be the guy. Would like his finishing to be a bit higher. But overall, 13 composure, 12 off the ball, 14 pace, 13 acceleration, other way around. Yeah, looks good to me. I like our striking options. Then we've got Jacob Italiano. He is, I don't know where he's going to fit in. He's a good player. Like, he's got all the attributes and stuff. But I'm not really sure where he fits into the tactic. I've got him as a backup striker, but he's only got 6 finishing. So that is not really going to work. And he can't really play Mazzala. What is he? What foots he use? Could he play left back or right back on attack? Mate, not really. I think we're probably going to have to look at selling him. Doesn't really fit. If we were playing inside forwards, where finishing doesn't matter quite as much, like, I'm okay with a lower finishing attribute as an inside forward, he'd be okay. But I think we're probably going to look to sell him, I would say. Because he's on 3.3k a week as well. So you probably look to sell him. Sama Tahan, he's, as I said before, he can sort of provide backup as the Mazzala. He's also going to be the backup striking option. Again, He's not perfect. I am looking to bring in a couple of extra strikers, although there are some decent striking options in the. This is what I mean. Look at the reserves and shit. There's like millions of them. There's like actual millions of them, and some of them are decent as well. So, like Madandi here, Madanya, not really a fullback, but could play there if we need him. Gregor, pretty solid defensive midfield option. The other thing is we don't really know what the level is, right? So we don't know if these guys are going to be okay for the level or not. I think they probably can be, but until we actually get out there and play, I don't really know. So Pepe here, solid. But like here, you got Dylan Conley, who's a striker. He's okay. 10 finishing, 13 composure, 13 off the ball, 14 pace and acceleration. Looks solid enough. He could probably be backup. It's probably better than Italiano as a backup. Gibson here is not really good enough. Mohamed Kamara is not good enough. Jake Porter, he could do a job. 14, 12, 12, 12, and 12. So he could definitely do a job. He's got decent. The mentals are not great for the pressing forward role, but he could be an advanced forward backup. Benny Sutton here, 18-year-old striker. He's a pretty decent pressing forward. Look at the he's actually quite good. 14 finishing. Hold on. Yeah, he probably will be the backup. 13 acceleration, 11 pace. Only 7 composure, 9 off the ball is the problem. We work on that. 14 finishing. He could be a decent backup. And we got Jason Hall here as well, who's another 18-year-old, but with no pace and acceleration. So there's a few options, but I feel like it needs strengthening if we're going to play 2 up top. So yeah, that's basically the plan at this point. Yeah, I think we'll call it quits there for today. Thanks for watching. If you did like the video, hit the thumbs up. It does help out the channel a lot. And if you want to follow the progress as Adelaide United manager with this amazing tactic that we've put together, or maybe not amazing, we'll see, and see how that goes, hit the follow button. And of course, please let me know down in the comments whether you think this was a mistake, because looking at the transfer rules, I think it might have been. This could be a very short visit to Australia. Yeah, if anyone does know the rules and understands them, please try and explain them to me in the comments, please, because I've got no idea. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow for the start of the season. Cheers, guys.